Back with our lovely Singer Model 457 Stylist. By the way, Singer called this color tawny beige. I don't know what tawny means, T-A-W-N-Y. So you artists will know, but to me it's just kind of a brownish beige. But we're back on it. We wound the bobbin, put it in there, threaded the upper part, pulled up the bobbin thread. So we're just going to do some basic sewing to show you the stitching. We'll start our fabric under there. You should always try and start with your stitch lever in the up position. If you start with it low, when you start sewing, it's going to pull up and it's going to suck that thread right out of your needle. If you start in the upper position or hold on to the thread when you start, that won't happen. You get your fabric under here. We'll drop everything down. I'm going to set it for straight stitch, which is 0 width. Needles in the center. The longest stitch I can do with this machine, 6, and we'll just start sewing. Nice straight stitch. All the Singer machines I've ever worked on have a beautiful stitch, which is the whole purpose of the machine. Let me look at the back and check the tension. Come out of the light a little bit. Yeah, so we don't want to see any pink from the top on the bottom, and we don't want to see any blue from the bottom on the top. So I'm at a 4 tension, and that's pretty normal sewing. Let me just rotate this, move it a little, rotate it again, and I'll come around and I'll do one of the much longer, well, let me do a medium stitch. So this is 12 stitches. Now that the thread is already engaged, I'm not worried about this lever being all the way up. So we'll just start sewing where we left off. Again, I'll rotate it a little. Come over, rotate it again. So that's a much finer stitch. Our tension is still good. No blue on the top. No pink on the bottom. I really like this kind of a tension that's so visible to me and easily adjusted. Now I'm going to go to zigzag. So I'm going to do about a 10 stitch length, still in the center. This is 0 to 5, so I'll start at 2, about 2.5, and we'll do a medium length, medium zigzag stitch. One thing you want to do, normally I found on the Singers that when you zigzag you need to lighten the tension because the needle is swinging back and forth. So I usually would go down to about a 2.5 is what I found in that range. So we'll start with that and we'll see how it goes. Oh, you know what? I'm doing a blind hem because I put this in blind hem. Let me finish the blind hem. Yeah, I forgot I didn't move that lever back. So it's doing a nice medium blind hem stitch. Checking the back. I don't have any pink from the top. No blue from the bottom. So my 2.5 tension that looks real good. Let me lower this over and come over a little bit. I'll swing it around and I'll do some real zigzag. So I put this back towards the zigzag and I'm at 2.5. Yeah, let's leave it. Let's leave it at a number 10 stitch, 2.5, and show some zigzag now. Very nice, good zigzag. Looks like the tension is about right. If it wasn't, you can just turn this a little bit, you know, to the left for a little bit less, to the right for a little bit more, to find your particular machine. Let me spin this around and go over here, spin it again, and I'll do my longest, widest. So that's stitch width 5 at the same length. Let me do half of it that way. Then I'll do a much shorter length. So a short wide zigzag. Then I'll do the longest zigzag that I can. So there's some different zigzag, and through all of that, for this medium, this needle, and about a 2.5 tension, well, there, see, it's peeking through on those longer. You see the pink coming through a little bit. It's still balancing in the center of the stitch. I'd be okay with that. Some people wouldn't like that. So you'd want to put a little bit more upper tension for that wider zigzag to balance the stitch a little bit more. Let me turn this guy around. Come over here a little bit. And go back in the center, 8 stitch, and I'll just show you the reverse. You know, a lot of times when you start, you go forward, put up your reverse, go back, then back to sew. I'll show you. You can reverse on the fly with this machine. It's not going, you know, if you decide you're sewing along and you want to go in reverse, come back, reverse, come back, like that. So it's very, very easy. Throw that up, reverse, you're done. So there's the stitches, the blind hem, straight stitch, zigzag that the machine can do. Here's a, I don't know, medium to heavyweight kind of upholstery fabric. See, when I tested it, I did blue on the top, so this time I'll do pink. Well, you can already see it did too. Let's double that over here maybe, and we'll do 4 layers of that, and I'll run a nice short number 15 straight stitch down the edge of that. Look at that nice stitch. That top stitching looks very pretty. And I'm not seeing the color on the other side, so this 3 to 4 areas worked real well for me on this machine. Let me come over here. I'll do some zigzag here too. Since I cut that, I'm going to rotate that up. I'll drop it down. I'll do about a number 10 on width 3. How's that sound? Loosen that just a smidge, and we'll try a zigzag stitch through 4 layers of this upholstery. There we go. So it's a basic machine, but it's, back in the day, you know, it was made for a homemaker. It's going to be sewing clothes and curtains and tablecloths and pillowcases and maybe slip covers, things like that. Here's some denim. So let's Let me run a very fine, well, we'll run about a number 8 straight down through some denim. No problem. Pretty top stitching. Let's go over that and let's do 4 layers of denim. By far, this is not one of Singer's strongest motors or drives, but it's very, very competent for most home sewing. So here's 4 layers of a denim. Thank you. We'll drop that. We'll go with a normal denim stitch, which to me would be about a 6. Right through. Pretty top stitch, pretty bottom stitch. Looks good. See if I can cut that on the hook and bring it around. I don't know if this would do. Let's see, what's that? 2, 4, 6. Let's see if it'll do 6. Getting kind of crowded under here. This is on a spring. You can lighten this down to 0. Lift that up. Let me raise the needle a little bit. I don't know. I've had real seamstresses tell me if you can get it under the presser foot, Singer will sew it. But okay, there's 6 layers of denim. I better put some presser foot tension on that for sure. I'll put a little bit more than I normally do. Without a walking foot, that's a lot of layers. You could see you could make something 3 or 4 layers thick for a quilt. Pretty easy. Put piping and cording on. Let's see if it'll work. I guess they're right. If it'll get under that presser foot, Singer will sew it. So this middle blue is the bottom stitch for that. This is just a standard number 14 needle. I didn't have a denim needle in there or a heavy duty needle or anything. It's not a Teflon coated needle. You know, if I was going to sew a lot of denim, I'd put a denim needle, which is usually a 16 or an 18. But I think you get the idea of the capabilities of this. Again, it's basic, but it's very strong, it's sturdy, and it's very dependable. Singer 457 Stylist. Thanks.